Don't do that!
Oh, why'd you go back in?
Frank!
Why'd you keep turning there?
That's your fault.
Why'd you keep doing that?
You could have beat him.
No, why'd you keep doing that turn there? You got a man, just set him. You keep doing it all the time. Just set him and you can play again. Anytime you do that, you turn, you're going to get done. Just set the ball. If you can see him, I don't mind that. You can turn, but you're not. You're turning blind. You turn blind all the time. Do you understand? Do you understand that? Does it make sense? But you keep doing it. Why do you keep doing it? When you can just set the man there.
Because you can see I was really passionate about what I was, because the way I pulled the boy to me and brought him in and then talked to him, it showed I was passionate about what I was talking about.
If he's off you here, you can turn. But he's here. You're not even feeling him.
But you dragged me.
No, but you got it, then just set it. Because he's right up here, isn't he? If you lose the ball, then what else? What? You're going to go and score, yes? Get it in your head. Just set it. If you've got space, then you can turn, yes? Come on. Play.
And it just created so many different views from people. Is he a good coach? Should he have done this? Should he have gripped the boy? So just that, when you're really authentic.
Okay, fantastic. Hi everybody. My name is Frank Appiah. I'm over in Kenya with my wife at the moment. So we've just come here to visit in-laws and also to start a foundation on the house that we're going to be building here. So it's it's a new start for my wife and I. So I'm excited about that and really looking forward to it. So yeah, that's the reason why we're here at the moment. But yeah, that's a short introduction. I'm also just talk about my faith a little bit. It's interesting. Over the last month, I've had almost it's like a paradigm shift in terms of what I was like before and what I am now. So I'm fairly new to Christianity. I got baptized about 2 weeks ago. So I've started my walk and my journey with Christ. So I'm born again. So it's yeah, I've started my journey and it's been an interesting one. And God is real. He is real. You know, I've always been running. He's been calling me for a long time. God has been calling me for a very long time. But I've been always running and looking for him in the wrong places, really. So yeah, the last few weeks has been really interesting, and yeah, I'm reading the Bible. I'd flicked over certain places in the Bible, but I hadn't read it from back to front. So yeah, I'm like a baby now, just reading, starting from Genesis, going through, and yeah, I'm just starting that journey, just reading the Word basically, and getting yeah, getting knowledge. I'm learning as I'm reading. I go to a church on a Sunday now, which is it's very powerful. I have Bible studies in the morning before the actual service starts. So yeah, I'm on a journey at the moment, and it's a blessing. I feel I'm very lucky that he kept calling, and yeah, I started to listen, and yeah, my life is changing. Life is changing. So yeah, that's where I'm at this moment in time, as I sit here. So I was born in Ghana. Ghana, obviously West Africa, people know. And I came over to London with my parents. So my father, he was an accountant. He worked for Ghana High Commission, and he was posted to London. And me, my brothers, and I, we all followed suit. So I have two other brothers and two sisters, but unfortunately one of my sisters passed a few years ago. So yes, I've got two brothers and one sister. So we all came together. So born in Ghana. So it was around about the age of 5 that I came over to London. So I've basically grown up in London, really. Yeah. So so once I came over to London from Ghana, I mean, I didn't really travel back a lot. My parents would go back by themselves, But I think when I got to around about the age of about 27, I think it was, that's when I started to make my first visit back. And since then, I started to travel every year just to go back as often as I can, to try and get the language back, because I forgot the language, which is really painful for me. So I started to just introduce myself back into the language to understand, the dialect and so on, because there's nothing worse than going back home and feeling like a foreigner, So that was pretty painful. So I had to go back every year just to try and get back the language into my system. So yeah, I've been going back ever since. But unfortunately, I think last year, my dad passed. So yeah, that was a difficult moment. But yeah, we've been going back ever since. Every year, every 2 years, I'd go back from the age of 27. So I'm 56 now. So I've been going back as often as I can. Okay. So what do I do in London? So interesting. So I've had a few jobs in London. Basically, I had my own courier company. Basically, okay. So I started off with my own courier company. So I was self-employed. So I had a contract with DHL. So I would have my own route that I would actually have to go in every day. I would get my parcels and I'd go and deliver to the customers. And so as time progressed, DHL started to franchise certain areas. So I was lucky enough I was given an area to look after. So then I had about 20 drivers. I had to go and get my own vans and so on, hire my vans and get insurance. And then I would get the drivers who would come and work for me, and I would pay them accordingly, depending on how many deliveries they did. So I did that for a short while, about 5-6 years I did that. And then, the company started to reduce the money in terms of how much I would get paid for each parcel. So yeah, the profit margins, it became very, very small. So I decided then to leave that and then to go into it myself. So now I'm still working with DHL as an employee, not self-employed. So I get sick pay and holiday pay, things like that, which is very beneficial. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So I work for DHL as a courier. Plus I coach as well. We have a small local football team in Brixton, in London, which a guy has started before. So we've got very talented boys that are not from a really from a disadvantaged, like in terms of where they live. It's some of the boys are quite poor, maybe a lot of single parent families. So we give them an opportunity to come forward, express themselves through football. We teach them life skills. There's a lot of life skills that you can learn in sport, so we try and teach them that. And the ones that are good enough, we have links with various professional academies, so we can push them into academies. So we've been successful in doing that. I had come to the realization that there was God, okay, and what I had a problem with was religion, okay. So there was many religions, and what I didn't want, and what I looked at, and I could see that a lot of religions, like if I wanted to know God, I had to go through various different people to get there. So Christianity would be Jesus, Muslim have to be Muhammad, the Jews, Moses, and so on. It to me there was always somebody in between me and God. So that put me off a lot of religions, Christianity and various other ones. So I wasn't a big fan of Christianity in terms of the way it had been introduced. For me, in terms of the slave, because I'll start from the beginning, where I basically wanted to know who I was as an individual. Who am I, Frank? Where did I come from? What is my purpose here? Why am I here? So I started a search, and that led me into who I was as Frank, as an African man. So I had to go back and look into where I came from in terms of Africa, what had happened, the whole slave thing, but I went further than that, because a lot of people, when they look into Africa, they start from the slavery aspect. But I went a little bit further than that, where we were kings and queens, we had kingdoms and so on. So I that journey just led me into just realizing how powerful, in terms of who, as Africans, we were. And then just after that, then it was just finding the more spiritual aspect, in terms of there was something that is greater than obviously me that created all of this, right? So I started to search down that path and look who that was. How did I fit into this? How did I fit into the bigger picture of the whole world, the galaxy, the universe? Who created this? And so that's when that search took me to trying to find who God was. Where is God amongst this, and how do I relate to him in all of this? So yeah, it just took me to different places, researching different people who had their own ideas or philosophies on who God was and how we relate to him, So yeah, I was searching, reading books, philosophy, looking in all different places. But yeah, and nothing seemed. It didn't seem like it was real. I wasn't really connecting. I just felt separated from it, So yeah, I think I've just been looking in the wrong places, really. And I had certain dreams. I had two experiences, really. One was a time I would say now, God came to me and spoke to me. And he said, the problem with you is you do not want to submit. And if you are able to submit, I will show you the power that you have, or the power that I can give you, that you can see that you can do. Right? Your power, the power that I can give you, that you can actually make a difference. And I felt a sense of peace when that happened. It's just like, and I just broke down into tears. It just, uncontrollable tears. I cried. I hadn't wept like that for a long time, So just uncontrollable tears that just left me with a sense of peace. And from that, I didn't really know where to go. I didn't know who to contact. I had a few friends that were Christians, but I had this blockage of Christianity, just in terms of what I had read previously, the perception of the white Jesus. I didn't identify with it, so I felt really separated from that, So that was. I couldn't identify with it, the whole white Jesus and the Christianity aspect. I looked into Muslim. But there were certain things about that I didn't connect with either, Other different spiritual practices. I looked at certain things, but just the connection wasn't there. But I just, in terms of just moving forward a little bit, after I had that experience, I had another experience that was very similar. Just saying that I needed to submit. You need to submit. I wanted control. I wanted to control everything in my life. And the submission is what God needed me to do. So cut a long story short, I met my partner, my wife, who is now. I met her, and she has been such an inspiration to me. It's incredible. I've never known a person with a huge, massive heart. It's incredible. And the interesting thing is, her name is Faith. Would you imagine? meeting somebody and getting married to somebody by the name of Faith, knowing that God is telling me I need to surrender, and that was just it. Yeah, that just sort of confirmed to me. So just after we got married, and I don't know if I should go into this because certain things happened to me in terms of my family. My dad passed, and I've always been unable to sort of recollect dreams. I've just been running aimlessly in terms of how and what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to search for God, but I was getting just too many sideshows. I wasn't focused. It wasn't a focused search. I would get sidetracked on different things. I'd find something and it would lead me into a rabbit hole. So I'd be digging, I'd find this new thing, and so I was just going aimlessly everywhere. But something happened in terms of my mother and myself, and I think that sort of changed my perspective on things, in terms of the spiritual aspect of things, where certain things were involved. I don't think I'll go into it now, but it opened my eyes in terms of just the realization that the spiritual world is real. There's two worlds here. There's a physical and the spiritual, and both are real. And that's what I found out. They're both real. And then I just started. People started praying for me because I felt I had to be. Something was done to me in my childhood, which sort of stunned my spiritual growth, I think. So Faith was praying for me. My wife was praying for me. Unbeknown to myself, she had somebody else who was praying for me as well. So yeah, I had this spiritual breakthrough, really. This sort of deliverance. It happened to me one occasion. I was going to work and I broke down again. I was driving to work. I started to play a lot of gospel music, a lot of spiritual music. I would listen to on my way to work, and the music started to speak to me. It's like God is talking to me at that particular moment in time. And I just broke down again in tears. And God was actually speaking to me just through sometimes in dreams. It would come to me and speak to me, telling me I needed to speak to my sister to confirm certain things, which I did. And the confirmation was what the dream sort of showed me. So I then started to have this relationship with God. I spoke to various people that said that, just through prayer, meditation and so on, that I could have this relationship with God. And this is what it showed me in terms of, it's not religion, it's a relationship that you have with God, right? And through Jesus and through being born again, just learning about that in terms of how he came and he died for us, and the Holy Spirit was released through him, that we could have that connection, that one-to-one relationship with him. And that's what a lot of this showed me. It's the relationship aspect that you have with him, not religion. It's a relationship that you have with him. And that's what all of this and this journey so far has showed me. It's a relationship you have with him, and you can talk to him and he answers your prayers. Prayers are real. They actually work. You can pray for things, and prayer is a fantastic thing. Really is. Just discovering that and actually knowing that actually works. These things are real. These things are real. That's what blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. So I'm walking with God. He's shown me what my purpose is, in terms of every one of us has a purpose that He seeded into us. So I've discovered that He's given me a purpose, and I'm running with it at the moment. I'm running with it, and yeah, and I'm sure it will take me to what He has for me, and that's where I'm at the moment. I'm chasing, I'm running towards my purpose, because I know the time is short at the moment. But yeah, I'm in a peaceful place. Because I've got recently baptized. Once you get baptized, it's difficult to explain. Just the peacefulness that you have within is incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and I have that at the moment. I had it initially when I started those dreams. I had a peacefulness after, but soon it went. But this peacefulness I have is just very different. You know, the Holy Spirit within me, after the baptism, that I just feel at the moment, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. So I have that, and I read. I'm reading the Word at the moment, and yeah, I'm in a good place. I'm in a happy place, just running with what I have at the moment, and yeah, I'm on the journey. I'm on the journey. So yeah, I've said a lot, but yeah, I'm in a good place. I feel privileged, really do. I mean, I've played semi-professional football for a long time. I mean, I was in academy at a very young age. So I played. I got a soccer scholarship to go to America. So I went to university in America and I played there. And after that, I came back to the UK and played semi-professionally for about 10 years. And then I met somebody, a friend of mine who I used to play with, and he managed the team. He was coaching a side. And he invited me to come over and have a look, and I did. And so I got involved, and I started to coach this particular side myself. And yes, ever since then I've been doing it on and off, really. I've managed to get my coaching badges, which you need to coach the youngsters in England. So I've managed to get that, and yeah, I've just been coaching that ever since, just running teams, helping out managers. And I find it really, really rewarding. Really, really rewarding. There's nothing more pleasurable than actually coaching somebody, and what you're trying to teach them, once they get it, that light bulb moment, once they actually, this is it. It's a fantastic feeling as a coach to be able to input that into somebody else, and yet they can get that particular skill that they're trying to do. It's a fantastic feeling. So yeah, I've enjoyed that, just speaking to the boys, and inspiring them, and yeah, bringing them up to be good humans, really. Yeah, you know, discipline is important. So yeah, beautiful question. And it's an interesting one, because there was one occasion, there was one boy that came to training. He came to training, and we found a knife. One of the boys saw a knife in his bag. So we had to pull him to one side and just speak to him. You know, what's going on, what's happening. And he was saying that he was getting bullied at school, and the knife was really for protection. So it's speaking to the boys and actually knowing their families also, their background and their families, and it's about them it's about us really trying to create a family for them, so they can identify with that, and it's showing them love, you know, that we care about them, right? So it's important that when they come, it's how they greet us as coaches, how we greet them. So we have to also respect them as they respect us. So respect is two-way. You have to respect the other person also. So it's giving them values, you know, certain values that are very important. You know, just reestablishing certain values back into them. Giving them responsibilities also. So, you know, once we finish coaching, you know, allowing them to either bring certain things back right, you're in charge of this today. Make sure we have 10 bibs, they all come back in. There's 10 footballs, make sure they all come back in. There's 10 water bottles, make sure you collect all of them. So giving them certain responsibilities that they can do. And it's just creating a family atmosphere that they feel loved, they feel respected, and they feel appreciated. Because I think that's where sometimes we're going wrong as a community, that we don't encourage, nurture, love, respect the youngsters. I think it's important, you know. We chastise as well when they're doing something wrong. I think that's important to correct children firmly, you know. So I think that's important. So there's certain things that they have to give me respect as a coach. If I'm talking and somebody else is talking, I have to shut that down quick. So they respect me. There's nothing worse than a coach that's not respected, because you see and children are they're savage. If they see that you're not in control, they will run riot. So you have to get that respect quickly, right? So they respect you. And that comes being firm and fair. So you can't I try and treat everybody fairly, but everybody's different. So I have to treat them different, because one child is different from another. But you have to be fair, but you have to treat them differently, because one person is not the same, right? So yeah, try to treat them fairly but differently, because everybody learns different. So yeah, just trying to get a family atmosphere, and that's through behavior, through politeness, respect, very important, you know. So yeah, we're just trying certain, the word I'm looking for, yeah, just good behavior, and just being appreciative of where we are, and just respecting everybody else, their teammates. Not everybody's gonna get on, yeah. So it's showing them that there is a pathway to actually trying to achieve something for that particular child if they're very, very talented. Okay, so that's us speaking to the parent. And sometimes sometimes we have to actually take that child ourselves to the various places. So we would have to go and pick that child up from home, take him to the various clubs that we want him to progress in. So we have to actually do the work ourselves. Okay, but it's some, and I know certain parents. We all have issues, we all have problems, but it's also trying to support the parents as well. Just trying to help them in terms of, you know, boots. As a club, we will buy them boots, we'll buy them kit. In terms of transport, we will maybe pay the transport for that child to get to, you know, from A to B. So we would take that on as a club or as coaches ourselves, you know, to try to help that parent to actually, you know, to get that child to certain places. There's certain things that we can do. Yeah, there are certain things that we can do. If a parent doesn't want to encourage that child or wants to pull him out, essentially it's up to that parent. But we try and encourage them and show them that, you know, this child is talented and he has potential and he has a possibility of you know, trying, you know, of making it to a professional status. And that in itself is a very privileged place to be. It's very rewarding, but it's difficult. But you know, it's very, very difficult. But it can be achieved through hard work. They can do it, and we can support them in that. You know, so it's basically supporting the child and the parent in different ways. You know, even through schooling. If the child is very talented enough and he gets accepted by an academy, that academy will also pay for that child to go to a good school. You know, a very, very good school, a fee-paying school sometimes, that he would not be allowed to go to if he wasn't in the academy. So certain clubs will facilitate that for them. They even go as far as actually buying parents' homes and cars and so on. So it is rewarding. If that child is talented enough, you know, it can change families' lives. Really, really can. So you know, these are things that can be happening. It's not for everybody. It doesn't happen for every child, because the statistics in actually making it to a professional level is very, very low. But it's not to say that it can't happen. You know, it can happen. So it's not selling people pipe dreams, but just showing them that it is achievable. You know, is achievable. So yeah, it's just about supporting the child and the parents as well, I think. That's a good question. Very interesting question. I I have a different feeling in myself now. I have a sense of peace and joy within myself, that there may be certain situations that I may look at differently now, um, and not be so harsh as I was before. I may be more humble in certain situations, in terms of how, not to say I wasn't that humble before, but being of the world back then, it was, I don't know, I could have been a little bit harsher in terms of how I would react to certain things. Maybe now I don't react so much. I would just take a step back a little bit and just process things slightly differently, you know, and just how I go about doing things is very different, I think, now. And we know what the world can be like. It can be very harsh. So I think I tend to be more humble in terms of my outlook and how I sort of engage with individuals. You know, not to say I'm a soft touch, because I will be stern when I need to be. That is important. But I tend to be, yeah, I will give people the benefit of the doubt a little bit. But yeah, I'm just a little bit more humble now, I think. I'm a bit more peaceful. Not to say I'm a soft touch, but a bit more peaceful. Yeah. I think I would have that 27-year-old, like what I know now is I would be acting with more of a purpose in terms of the things that I'll be trying to do. I would have more of an end goal, you know? So this is what I've got. This is what I've been given as a talent, right? So in terms of, I would have more of a focus in terms of what I would want to do, rather than just running aimlessly, because this world is a lot of sideshows. So I think I would be more focused in terms of what I wanted to do, you know. So I wouldn't be too bothered about what is here or there. I would be more focused in terms of what I wanted. So I think the focus for me would have been different. So I would get to my, it's interesting, would I get to my end goal any quicker? With the challenges that I've received as an old 27-year-old, it sort of shaped me in terms of how I am now. And they say every experience it's not a bad one, it's a good one, because it teaches you. That is what wisdom is. It teaches you. So for me, I think I'd be more focused. Not to say my journey would be any different, but I think I'd be more focused in terms of where I was going. I would see that picture, because before I wasn't really focused. I was just going along with whatever was happening at the time. I wasn't really focused. And I think, you know, walking with Christ now has given me more of a focus, more of a purpose. That's what I feel at the moment. I have more purpose, you know, which is a fantastic feeling. It's a beautiful thing. Do you know what? Me and my dad, and as I got to know him a lot more during the last moments we shared together, because he came and stayed with us in London for our wedding, me and my wife's wedding. He came and stayed, and I got to know him a lot better than I did. My dad is a very private man, doesn't show emotion that much. You know, we had our family wasn't really a family that really showed emotion, and those 3 words, I love you, didn't hear that much. Even though I knew he loved me, it wasn't said. So I missed out on that. I think that that expression through words, that affirmation through words, that I was loved and appreciated. Yeah, I didn't get that much, but I got to know my dad more in terms of how he was as a person, what it was like as a youngster growing up. Yeah, I got to know him a little bit more. So yeah, I appreciated that. So in terms of the things I've learned now through his passing, I've learned that I need to show love, more love, and tell my children that I love them more, and embrace them and hug them, and say, listen, I love you, son. I'm always there, because when I was growing up and playing my football, I was very, very talented as a youngster. I'm sorry to say I was, but I didn't have that encouragement from my parents. So most of the things I had to do by myself, or my coach would take me to certain places, and sometimes it was a resentment I had against them, because if I was thinking to them, if I had that little push, or that push, or that feeling of being wanted and appreciated, it could have took me a little bit further. So with my two kids, I really encourage them. And they're both talented, very, very talented sportsmen, academically as well. So I'm always there. I watch them, and I'm always encouraging them. But what I could do more is actually embracing them and hugging them and telling them that I love them. And that is an important thing that I think we all need, we all crave as humans. We need that relationship. That's one thing I learned. You cannot do this thing by yourself. Life, going through it, is not an individual thing. It's about relationships, having relationships all over the place. So yeah, that's important. So just showing them that I care about them, that I see them, which is important. I see you. It's important. So yeah, just having that relationship with them, and just affirming and telling them, really. So yeah, I think that's what I've learnt through my dad passing, just having more connection with my children and with people in general, really. It is difficult, but I think it's you've got to have a belief inside of you, um, that you have this talent, and for me, it's I didn't have that at the time, but through finding God now and having that relationship with Jesus as well, there's a feeling, there's a belief, a strength that it gives you, that you believe in him, and through him you can do so many great things. So for me, it's and if you're lucky enough to have that relationship, and everybody can have that. It's about you making that decision to do that. And when you do that, it just gives you a sense, a powerful feeling, a strength within to be able to achieve anything that you put your mind to, because you can achieve great things. He can do great things through you. And once you have that, it's a powerful thing. So that in itself will take you places, right? And they say faith, having that with you, that belief is powerful, because you can do credible things. There's nothing that God cannot do. There's nothing that he can do. Everything that he created is here. Everything that we need is here. Creation is finished. There's nothing more that it needs to create. So anything you need is right here. So through him, you can do so many powerful things. So once you have that, it's just that you walk in that confidence, and that you have been given that authority is the word I'm looking for. You have been given that authority to do that. Do you understand? Authority is a powerful word. Powerful. So you have that. And when you run with that, wow. Sheesh. It's a powerful thing. You can do it now. You can do it. It's difficult to do it by yourself, but once you've been saved, hey, that power there now, you can't touch it. Very, very powerful. So yeah, I encourage people to, and I think God speaks to everybody differently. So yeah, just listen. He's speaking to everyone. Listen, you will hear him, and he's there for all of us. absolutely there for all of us. Jesus died for all of us. But yeah, just listen and seek him, and he's there. Seek him and you'll find him.